Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. What we got for you today, we've got tons of new tackle that I picked up at a bunch of different shops. We're going to be going over all this stuff, kind of give you guys a breakdown on it. First impressions on some of this stuff, because some of it's stuff that I've not used before, not seen before in person. And some of it is stuff that I currently use, but it's just different colors, different variations of lures that I already use. So hopefully some stuff you guys hadn't seen before, give you some ideas of ways to get out and catch them. We're gonna start over here on the right, and this is some stuff that I picked up at Bass Pro. And we'll start with, so I was wanting some stuff to start doing some more drop shot techniques with. So I went and got me some little drop shot weights. And I got them in the 3/16 and the 1/8. I already have some, but wanted a few more, a couple different options. Different stuff to get out there and be able to, I've got some of the bell style weights and the cylinders, but I wanted some of these smaller weight sizes. Some of the ones that I have are a little heavier, but these are the tungsten, and the ones that I have are lead, so a little smaller option there with that tungsten. And then one thing I did get from Bass Pro to try on that drop shot is this Baby Z2. But this is also, I haven't used this for like the strolling, hover strolling, mid strolling, bottom strolling, any of those techniques. But I have used this as an individual jerkbait, soft jerkbait, and it's an excellent option for that. But it's a striking lure, but it is made out of the Elastec. It's like a kind of a collab with Z-Man. It's the actual Elastec material that Z-Man uses. But then one cool thing is on the back, it shows you different rigging options here. Make sure you can make that out. You've got, it says the wacky rig. I've never wacky rigged these things. Never really thought about it, but of course a weightless jerkbait, weightless Texas rig style, or nose hook drop shot, which is kind of what I was thinking with this, is nose hooking this and using this as a drop shot option. But again, works really well as a soft jerk bait. And then I saw these, I've seen these before, never picked one up, but I like throwing these 6-inch soft swim baits. And this is the Comeback Shad. And this color is Sexy Gizzard. So we'll pop this thing out and let you check it out. Pretty soft. It's a dense body, but kind of stretchy. Not sure how wide of a wobble it's gonna have. We're gonna have to get out and check that out. It doesn't have a slot down here for this hook, so I personally would take this hook and pin it up in the belly, just so it's not dangling, and help kind of hide that hook a little bit. But pretty good profile. It's a pretty heavy bait. It's 1.5 ounces. So I mean, it's something you could throw on your jig rod and be able to get out and throw these big swim baits, like a mag draft or something of that style, and throwing these soft swim baits. If you haven't thrown like the 5 and 6 inch swim baits, you can catch tons of fish on them. It's not just targeting giants, but giants do eat these things. And I haven't thrown this specific one, and hopefully I can get out and check it out and see what I think about it. And then next is something that I've looked for and haven't been able to find, and I finally saw these at Bass Pro Shop in Bristol and was excited and grabbed 2 of them. And this is the micro chatterbait. I've got the Mini Max. I've seen the regular Mini, I've not used it, but I have the Mini Max. And I have one of these that's open, the micro. I got it in this white and chartreuse, and then I got it in just the white. And just to show you size comparison, I have a little slobber knocker here as well. But you can see the size difference in those heads, those blades. I mean, it's just a massive difference there. So this is gonna be a cool little profile to get out and downsize and be able to show the fish something different that everybody else is out throwing these chatterbaits. You've got that mini max, now you can downsize even more and be able to chase them and hopefully entice them with something a little bit different. But there's a lot of smaller fish that you could use. This will be a really good creek bait if you've got some small bass, to be able to target those smaller largemouth, or if you're fishing, say, I think it's the Conasauga River has those little Coosa bass, and they're a smaller fish. They don't really get huge. So something like this would be really good to chase those little fish with. And I like having options, like having different ways to get out and chase them. And that's one good way to do it. Next in here, I was over toward Nashville, and if you're ever over that way, there's a really, really cool store. It's probably 20 minutes outside Nashville, called Harpeth River Outfitters. And it's not a huge store, but it has so much tackle in there that it's crazy. That guy has everything you can imagine in there. There's a lot of JDM stuff, of course, all your domestic stuff, but terminal tackle. He's got the huge swim baits, a lot of the depths, and Bait Sanity, a lot of those huge swim baits. He just has a mixture of everything, every soft plastic you can imagine, stuff that I've not seen in years he had, and just a mixture of all kinds of stuff. I didn't have a whole lot of time to explore. I was just wanted to stop by while I had the chance, and I will be going online and ordering a lot of stuff. They have a website. It is harpethriveroutfitters.com, and tons of tackle, and they have a huge clearance section online. I highly recommend checking those guys out and seeing what they've got, because if you're looking for something, I'm sure they have it. But this is something that I have been looking for, and this is the Core Tackle Ozark rig. And the way this hook works, it's supposed to, instead of having like your Texas rig or your jig head, it kind of spreads the weight out down the shaft of that hook. And it's supposed to help with a gliding action of that bait falling. So that's something I'm gonna test to get out and see. I've got to get my tank cleaned up and get it here on the table and start doing some videos in that tank so we can actually see the way this stuff works, because that's something that I'm really interested in. But getting out and chasing them with that Ozark rig, that thing, if it does what I'm thinking it does, I haven't watched a whole lot on it, but it gives it a more natural fall. Instead of just coming in and dropping straight down, it kind of glides in to where, hopefully, show them something a little different. But getting up under those docks and stuff, I think that'll be nice to be able to skip up under those docks and then that thing kind of glide down, instead of just pitch it up in there and then it just shoot down to the bottom. So hopefully that works, and then I'll try those in different sizes if it's something that I like. This one right here particularly is a 4/0 hook, and it's 3/16 ounce, so that's something I'm gonna have to get out and play with. If you've used those, leave me some comments down below on any of this stuff, if you've used it, on what you think about it. And also, everything that I show you here will be linked, if I can get a link to it, will be linked in the description down below on Omnia or Amazon, whichever one I can get the links to. I'll try to put both, because some people would rather use Omnia than Amazon, and I understand that, so I'll try to put both of them down there. But then next up, what we got is these Depths bull flats. And I'm not sure, this is just like a green pumpkin color. It tells the color in Japanese, so I don't really know. And I'm gonna go ahead and, I hate packages that when you open them, it takes the hook circle off, because sometimes I open them and then I don't want to use them until a certain time, and I'll hang them up on the wall, and then I don't have the way to hang them back up. But this is a cool little profile. It's a different profile. It's kind of like a beaver style profile. It's really oversized, but then it has like this little swim tail on it. Not exactly sure what this is gonna look like in the water, but I believe this could be an excellent skipping bait for skipping back up under docks. But I think also this could be an excellent buzzbait trailer. I like using those G-Crack, the bellows gill or the bellows shad on my buzzbaits. They work really well, so that's something that I'll use that for and see what I think about it. But it's kind of a heavier, so I don't know if it's gonna sink. That's something that I'll have to get out and figure out and see how these things swim and all that stuff. It says taste and flavor, and then it says something else in Japanese. It's got a picture of a crab, or shrimp, I don't know. But it's got different scents and flavors in here to help when that fish does bite to not really just taste that plastic and to latch on and stay latched on. And then lastly, at that shop at Harpeth River, they had these zoo pops. And I got these things in 2 different colors. This is the dark gill, and then this is the bloody shad. And these things were $9 a piece, but if you haven't fished these, if you've watched some of my videos, I fished quite a few of these, and I absolutely love these things. I don't tend to throw a popping frog because I don't like the spitting action that they lack. This is like throwing a real popper minus the treble hooks. So you have, we'll crack one of these open because it's gonna go ahead and go in my box. Actually, we'll just go ahead and crack them both open because they're both going in my box because I love these things and I plan on using them. All right, so this is that bloody shad color. You got the goldish and black back, the red and grays on the bottom, and then you have your feather on the back just like a normal popper. There's no treble hook in there that you have to worry about. You just have your normal like frog style hook in here, and that's what I love about these. And this is that dark gill color. You got the orange on the belly, kind of a bluegillish profile, then your feathers on the back. But these things versus a popping frog, the action is hands down my favorite. I don't use a lot of popping frogs because I didn't like the action, and these things have spoiled me. I got out throwing these. I had the black and got out and was able to catch tons of fish my first day using it, and I've caught a lot more on that same one. I bought another of the black, but then I went out and got more of these. As soon as I saw these other colors, I had to pick them up. It is dead on action of a hard body popper, but you're lacking the treble hooks. So you can throw this thing up in some of that gnarly cover and be able to bring it back, and then in those open areas, use that popping action. And this thing pops and spits just like a real popper, like a hard body popper, and it's excellent. So if you haven't checked these out, I highly, 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 highly recommend these things. All right, so next in here is something that I'm not typically a fan of this company, but I found this stuff really, really cheap. So I picked it up because I wanted some Ned style and small river creek baits. And these were a really good deal, and some of them kind of intrigued me, so I wanted to give them a shot. And that is the Guggen. These are the rattling Neds, and then the 3-inch Crack and Crawl Juniors. And then this Dragon Drop that I got as a drop shot bait. But as you can see, these things were $1.99 a pack. I mean, anywhere else you go, these things are $6 a pack. So I wanted to get them and see what I thought about them. I tried some of the Bandito bugs a long time ago when they first came out and absolutely hated them because the material that they were made out of, it just powdered up when I tried to hook it. I just didn't like it. But these feel a lot different. They've got scent to them. This is all the colors on these are covered up, so I can't really tell you colors, but this is that drag and drop. It's kind of like a flatworm. So that's one that I think could be potentially a good drop shot bait. And I got that in a few different colors. But for $1.99, I mean, it was hard to pass them up when it's something that I haven't used. And if I end up not liking them, I mean, there's tons of people that actually love this Guggen stuff, so I will pass it off to somebody else and let them use it. I have a buddy that swears by these little rattling Neds. And this is like a green pumpkin back with a white belly. But it's got just a little rattle in there. And I think that could be an excellent little Ned bait. That's something that I could really see being useful. So that's one that I think I will for sure use. And then I got that one in that color, and then this one's kind of a brown and purple mixture. It's the same thing. And then those Crack and Crawl Juniors. This is probably going to be my favorite color that I got it in, other than the Jumbo. And it's this purple on the back, green pumpkin on the top. So you can kind of flip that thing and get different colors, but that fish is going to see both colors. So it's kind of, I like these two tones because it helps to give, you're not just having to use just one, you can use both colors and hopefully one of those colors work. But I like these little crawls. I mean, those could be an excellent little jig trailer, or just put these on a little Ned head, throw them out in the rivers and stuff, let them drift down. And I think those could be excellent little options. So hopefully, I mean, maybe they can change my mind about Guggen, and maybe I'll decide to give some of their stuff a try again, but I just did not have good luck with it before. Didn't like the quality of the product that I got, so we'll check these out and see what we think. If you're a Guggen fan, let me know what your favorite baits are, so I can, if I do like these, it's something else I can try out, because I do like to try different stuff and have a bunch of different ways to attack these fish. But lastly, this is the one that I got the most from. And this was a cool little shop if you're ever in the Bristol area. It's called Just Fishing. And these guys had quite a bit of stuff as well. Mixture of all kinds of JDM baits and tons and tons and tons of terminal tackle. But again, it was when I bought all this drop shot stuff and this Ned stuff, so I was still kind of trying to fit that bill. So the first thing I'm going to show you is these little Ultra Head blockheads by Owner. And this is a EWG Ned head. And I like this thing because it can be fished weedless, snagless, and thrown in some places that your normal Ned head couldn't. So I do like that look of that little blockhead, but there you go, give you a look at that real quick. I think that could be a cool little option there for a Ned head. Instead of having the exposed hook all the time, you can get out and throw it up in some grass and stuff and not have to worry about getting hung up in that grass as much. That sometimes with a traditional style Ned bait, you would end up catching that vegetation and not be able to work that bait efficiently and effectively. And then we're going to stick with terminal tackle first. I got some of these Spin Shot Wide Gap VMC hooks. And just to kind of show you down the back. See if I can get these out. So they're a booger to get out of here, but just so you can see it, it's got that little swivel here. So you can tie your main line to the top of it, your leader for your weight on the bottom of it, and that helps to stand your drop shot up. But you have that swivel in there to stop from line twist and hopefully help reduce that, so you're casting and retrieving, your bait's not spinning. So hopefully that helps out with that. That is one thing. If you're just tying straight to the hook and then a small leader to your weight, you do have quite a bit of line twist and stuff, and if that's supposed to eliminate it, we'll see how that works. And then next up, I got some large size G Finesse Gamakatsu snaps, and I like to use these when I'm swapping out my swim baits and stuff. I'll throw these on there. A lot of my bigger swim baits, this is a 80-pound size, and I like to use that bigger one on some of those bigger, like the Chad Chads and stuff, because it gives it a little more free range than tying directly to it. But also, if I want to swap out and try something different, I don't have to completely cut that off, retie. I can just pop that snap open and put it back. I know a lot of people hate using snaps for that, but I've not lost a bait on it, so I'm gonna continue doing it until I get burned, basically, is what I'm saying. I have a bad habit of trying to find the easiest way to do stuff, and when you're out there in the water not having to retie every time, that can make a huge difference. So having that option is nice. And then I did need a few more tungsten weights. I needed some different sizes, some flipping weights. And I got the 5/16 and the 1/4 ounce in this arc tungsten, just the regular bullet weights. These are good little weights if you've not used them. Any of your tungsten flipping weights, whichever is your favorite. But I like these arcs. They're affordable and they do really well for me. They don't chip up. So I've had good luck with those. And then last on the terminal tackle, you know that I love those Stanley, well, now they're Frog Factory. They used to be the Stanley Ribbit top toads, but I needed some more hooks for them. These have that screw lock, screws in the front, and then that goes around the back just like a normal frog hook. But that thing is the key to throwing those big hollow body paddle pails. Got 2 packs of those, but those work tremendously with those. That's the hook that comes with them if you buy the ones that have the pre-rig, and then you can go out and buy extra hooks, but that's the ones, those are the deal when it comes to throwing those. They work so well, and the hookup ratio on them is ridiculous. They're sticky sharp. You can't go wrong with those hooks on your frogs. Next up, what do we want to hit? Let's go with, while we're on the Ned and drop shot stuff still, I got these Great Lakes Finesse Helgermites. And you can see those through there. We'll take one out here to show you. They're a cool little Helgermite option. These are just a brown Helgermite. Got your salt on them. I've not used much of the Great Lakes Finesse stuff, and that's something that I'm wanting to try more of. I've seen a lot of their stuff, and a lot of it looks pretty enticing, and I've heard really, really good feedback on it. Everybody that I know that has used their stuff loves it, and one thing that I like about it is it has this shine-free finish, so it's like a matte finish on it, and that's something that, if you notice, a lot of companies are starting to do now. I know Big Bite Baits put out some matte baits that don't have the shine on them, and I'm really intrigued by that because I think it could help it to look more natural and not as fake in the water. So that's something that intrigues me and I want to try more of. So I will be picking up some of those Big Bite baits, the Nico Roma worms. I know they did it in, and there's a couple other baits I think that they've done the matte finish, but there's a lot of companies that are starting to put out these matte finish baits, and I think that's going to be something that we see a lot of in the future. But one thing about these Great Lakes Finesse is they give you options on ways to rig it, dragging it, Ned, drop shot, Carolina rig, and your target species, smallmouth bass. Using these in small rivers, creeks. I mean, you could use these in the lakes, whatever, but throwing these things out, the way I use them, I use those Nico Helgermites, some of the Yum Helgermites, but fishing a lot of these small creeks and stuff, throwing that up in the current, letting it drift down on a small, like 1/16 or 1/32 Ned head and let it drift through. Those fish, when they see them, they can't resist them. I always do go with that darker color, and then there are some, you've got that bubblegum swirl color that Yum makes, and it's a crazy color. It's like a orange and pink swirl. I've used those Yum dingers for years now, but they started making that Helgramite, and it is in that same color. And I've not used that color, but John over at Creek Fishing Adventures, if any of you guys watch him, if you don't, you should. He's got an excellent channel, but he's an awesome fisherman, man of God. He's a very religious guy, and just all around seems to be a good dude. But he has a really good channel, a really informative channel. Gets out and has a lot of fun, but he uses a lot of those Helgramites, and he does use that bubblegum swirl color. So that's something that I've seen him use that I've not used in that Helgramite. So that's something that I may have to give a shot and check it out, because I have caught several fish on that worm that's that color, and it's something that you would see and you're like, they're not going to eat that, but they destroy that color. But next two things are both 6 cents baits. I got the Smalley Snack color in this Boosa Ned that I've been wanting. Only one I've got left to get is the Bambusa, which is like a 5.5 inch. But this is a cool little Ned bait. That tail can't sit still. I think that's going to be a good option for a Ned bait. I love those Boosa worms. I've done pretty good on some of them, so getting out and chasing them with these, that'll be a lot of fun. So that was my Ned option, and then my drop shot option, I got the Glitch 3.8 in the Record Breaker color, and this color is sick. I love it. It is so clear, so translucent, but at the same time, it's not. It's got some solid color to it. It's just very realistic. But I think as a drop shot option, when you're out on those finicky fish, that this is going to be an unbelievable option to get out and throw, because that is the color of a lot of these small bait fish that we have out here. And I'm going to try this on a couple different things. With that tail, I'm thinking that could be a cool little chatterbait trailer. I don't know. I've not tried it, but it's something that I'm going to give a shot and see what I think about, because I think it could be cool. But as far as a nose hook drop shot option, I think that is going to be the business. All right, so next is going to be my last option for soft plastics that I got, and this is the X Zone Hot Shot Minnow, and it's crystal shad color. These are supposed to float. I don't know, I've not used these yet. This is a new one to me. I've used a lot of the other X Zone stuff. This is one that I've grown to love, one of the company I've grown to love. I like a lot of their stuff, but this is a smaller option than that Glitch that I just showed you from 6 cents. It's a very similar bait, very similar profile, just a little more downsized. Color's a little bit different. This crystal shad, you've got more of a solid back that's gray with tons of flake in it, very clear translucent bottom. But nose hooking this, using that as a drop shot bait, I think is going to be a really cool deal, especially with it floating. It's going to want to ride up horizontal and be a very good drop shot option. So that's one that I look forward to getting out and trying as well. Okay, so next we'll get into the last lures that I have before I show you what else I got. But this one is going to be, these last few are all going to be my favorite category, top water. So I got this Arc Fishing TB 115, which is a top water blower. And it's a 4.5 inch bait, 5/8 ounce. And it's going to be a lot like the shower blows or something of that sort. But I've started fishing a lot of this Arc Fishing stuff, and I really like it. I've got some of their jerk baits, some of their crankbaits, some of their lipless and square bill crankbaits, and then I've got some of these little tiny that I'm going to be throwing on that BFS rod crankbaits as well. And I really like all their stuff that I've used. They've got some really cool colors. and some really good hardware on them. I mean, it's pretty, I mean, it's not like top of the line hardware, but it's gonna do me for what I need. Really cool color on this thing. It's not showing up that well, but there's like a pink, maybe that side will show up a little better. You got a pink lateral line on here. You got the green back, then you got that real pearl underbelly. But this thing is meant to sit. You got your feathered hook on the back. It's meant to sit in the water after you're done working it, kind of like this. And it shows you here on the back of the box how that thing's gonna sit in the water. So, it's designed for the super long distance casting and the easiest walking action. It delivers perfect walk the dog action while not moving much distance. So you'll be able to keep it in the strike zone and move it in shorter spans than having to, as you're walking it hurrying up and getting back to you. So I haven't used this thing yet, but I have confidence that it's gonna do what it's supposed to do, just like the crankbaits and jerk baits and stuff that they have. I like a lot of their color pattern and stuff. They have a lot of the matte finish on their hard baits, and I like that. They also make rods and reels, and I hadn't tried any of that stuff either, but that's I've got all these Lew's rods and all these Daiwa rods and reels, and I absolutely love both of those brands, but I'm gonna start expanding and trying other options. If you guys have any favorites, leave me some comments and give me some options on some stuff. I'm looking at getting a lighter BFS rod. I have that medium light Lew's custom light, and that thing is excellent, but I'm thinking about getting something a little like a light action rod so I can throw even smaller stuff, but I want to be able to get out and use that versus a spinning reel in some of these small creeks and rivers that I'm wading and stuff. And so that's something that I want, a little shorter rod, be able to get out and chase them like that, be able to throw my Ned rigs and stuff on bait caster versus having to use spinning gear, because I hate using spinning gear. I'd rather have that bait caster out there and be able to wear them out. But next, what we're gonna get to is, I told you I picked up another one of these in black. This is that Zoo Pop. This one will go up here as my extra stock because I've already got 2 of these in the box, but I was able to find the Zoo Pup as well. And they make this in a bigger version called the Zoo Dog. This is in the bone color, and I got it in the black shad color, which is the same as that popper I just showed you. And I'm gonna pop these open because they're going straight in the box to be fished next time I go out. This is that black, solid black with a kind of a white back, gray, silverish back. No rattle in there or anything, but you could put those glass rattles in here and give it a little extra sound if you wanted. But these are shaped just like a Zara spook, so I can only assume they're gonna walk great. I'm gonna have to get out and figure it out, but again, that's one I'll give you feedback on and let you know what I think about it. And then this bone color also. I love that they still put the feathers on the back of these, even though they don't have the treble hooks back there. But this bone kind of has like a pink tinge to it, but be able to get out and fish these weedlessly in a lot of places where I would love to throw a good walking bait, but I can't get something up in there because it has treble hooks on it. I think this is gonna be the business when it comes to getting up in there like that. Other companies have tried stuff like this in the past. I've tried, Lunker Hunt made one, I believe, and I've got it, didn't like it. It just didn't turn out well. It just had an EWG hook in it. But, and it was a popper style. I think they've done one like this too. But the way that popper works, I have every bit of confidence that these are gonna walk like I expect them to. And I'm excited to get out and give these things a shot because the Zoo Pop is an awesome bait. So I can only assume that these are gonna be good. And when I find some of those Zoo Dogs, the bigger version, I think this is a 4-inch version. It doesn't say on here, but the other one's like an inch and a half longer. And the reason I wanted the Zoo Pup more than the Zoo Dog was because of how far back the hook actually sits. I think on the Zoo Dog, the hook, it's got more beef back here. So that hook doesn't sit back as far. So I was curious about the hookup ratio because I was gonna order some, but I wanna see them in person before I order them. I would rather just pick them up at a store that I could find and be able to see them. But this super soft plastic, it's gonna collapse really, really easy. And I think this is gonna be a good one. And then lastly, something I wanna share with you guys is my new frog storage box. I've never really used this Plano Edge stuff, but I saw this frog box and it intrigued me. So I really like the latches. I just pop that open, one hand operation, be able to open that up. And then you've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options here, or 5 bars here. Each one has hooks on each side, has 5 hooks on each side. So those little hooks, you can just pop those things out and you've got all your frogs hanging there. So I can separate. God, Lord, I don't know how people stand in their cars being that loud sometimes. But, so you've got your option of taking all your frogs. I've got all my white-bellied frogs. I don't care what color the back of my frog is. I go off what the underside of my frog is because that's what the fish actually sees. And then I have, this one has a few random ones on it. This one has one Vega frog, which is a popping frog, and the Jackal Kiera S2, and my random frogs. And then I have options for black frogs on here, black bellies. And then all my paddle tails right here. And these things have a water wick in them which absorbs the moisture. So your frogs are actually hanging in the box vertically. So they can drip dry in that box. You don't have to lay them out on the deck of the boat and hope you don't lose them or forget them. I can put those things directly in my box and they'll drip dry. You've got this water wick in here that helps to take up some of that moisture to stop rust and stuff like that. But then I have, this one's gonna be my Zoo Dogs and my Zoo Pops. So I'm gonna hook these things on here real quick. You just through the eye right there. So I'll put my Zoo Dogs on this side. I really like that these Zoo Pops have the split ring already on them. They're good split rings. Don't have to worry about them. But then just snap that thing back in. And if you want, you can just lift one side up if you're just trying to get one out and pull that thing off there. And then put your other one back on if you're just swapping colors or something and be able to lock it back up. But next, I think I'm going to get their jig box and give it a shot because being able to keep all my jigs more organized in a storage solution like that, I really like that option. So that's something that I might start investing in. It is a little more expensive than a lot of your 3700 Plano boxes or some of your little 3600s, but this is like what my bladed jigs are in right now. And I know people will take and just put like 5 or 6 jigs in the same hole or whatever. I can't stand that. I like my stuff being a little more separated so I can see what's in there. If I have a bunch of the same color, I guess I can see that, but I don't typically have more than 2 of the same color in my box. And that could be a bad thing, I guess, when you get out in the water and you don't have multiple colors if you're breaking off and stuff, but I have enough confidence that I can make something else work. But if you've used that jig box, let me know what you think about it. I've seen mixed reviews on it, but I think it's something that I'm gonna look into getting and giving it a shot because I think it'll be a good addition to my tackle box to be able to have those jigs a little more organized. It's a really cool looking option. But I think that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Went through a lot of cool stuff with you. I'm super excited to get out and try all this stuff. The ones that I haven't. These zoo dogs is one that, or zoo pups is one that I'm really intrigued about. And this comeback shed is one that I'm really intrigued about. I hope to get out next week and do that underwater footage video that I've been trying so hard to get done. I guess I'm in really clear water right now, so hopefully I can get out and get that done and give a little insight on the different actions of those baits, and I'll be able to get that one out and see it as well. So that's one. I'm gonna do that one, the mag draft. I'll do the weedless mag draft. I'm gonna try to pick up one of the Chris Zaldane, the Zaldangerous ones. And also I have a couple other options that I'm gonna do of the soft, like the 6 and 7 inch, 8 inch swim baits, the coal shad, I have that one. And I'll probably throw the Nessie in there. I know it's a little different action, but it's still soft plastic, and kind of do a little mixture of stuff there. All right, so that's gonna be it for me. I get on here and start rambling. You guys, I get on here and talk fishing, and I won't shut up. I drive people crazy with it, but it's something that I'm passionate about. I love sharing the information with people and hopefully help somebody out on the water. And hopefully you can see something and I can give you some reviews on it, and you not have to buy something and to find out how it works. I can kind of tell you how it works. And that's something, if you have questions about any of this, by the time this video comes out, I may have used it. Leave me some questions down in the comments. And if I haven't used it, I'll let you know, and then I'll get back to you also when I do use it and kind of give you guys information on that. So hopefully you guys can find value in these videos. This isn't just a, hey, this is what I bought kind of thing. This is, I do these videos to kind of give you an inside look at it and give you my initial reactions. But if it's something that I have used, to kind of try to give you an honest review. I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy something that I haven't used before. But I'm going to get out of here. I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in. And if you're not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us out, helps you out, helps you to know when these giveaways go live. We've got another one coming up. It's going to be a 6-cent subscription bag. I'll do a video on it. That'll probably be my next video that comes out. And we'll get that giveaway going. And hopefully somebody can get that and catch a few fish. And I'll probably add a few things with it as well. And just hopefully help somebody out. But I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.